Hey guys, Nicole here, and I am back with another page kit video. I think I'm going to have one more to go after this. I thought maybe I could get it all done in this one, but I don't think it's going to happen. I had a big pile of page kits as far as the bases, so that's okay. All good. I'll just keep going, and I'll have a bunch of different fun kits to play with. I'm definitely getting, by the end of these, I'm definitely getting very low on everything that I'm working with right now as far as my layering pieces. But like I said before, then these piles will be the first ones to get loaded up with the other embellishments. So I think it'll even out fine. But it does get tricky, and it does get to where you have to be a little bit creative to find the layering pieces that match nicely. So yeah, so I am in a car right now actually, so I'm sorry if you can hear it running in the background. It's chilly outside, so I decided to keep it on. But my daughter is in volleyball practice, and so I'm like, what can I do while she's in practice? And I decided to get a voiceover done, so because I do it through my phone. The only problem is my darn app that I use does not roll. It rolls in a very small strip along the bottom, and it used to roll on my main screen, and it just freezes now. And so I know I mentioned this a couple of videos ago. It's driving me batty. I don't know why it's doing that. And so I can't really, I can kind of see what I'm doing, but I'm having a hard time, really talking specifically about like the papers I'm choosing and stuff, because I can't see them the best. But I think you guys probably know my system pretty well by now, that I really look at the paper that has the variety of colors, and then I take into consideration the papers I already have and what color they are, and then kind of pull in layering pieces that are maybe in colors that are missing, that will help keep it cohesive, or just other pieces that are in the same colors, that even if I already have them in paper, I'll be able to use them in layering. So so what can I talk about today? Well, you guys are watching me put all these kits together. The 6x6 paper pads are getting really low too. I think by the end of this one, I think I just finally tear out the remaining pieces out of 3 or 4 of them, and then throw the covers away. So I just love how much stash I'm just getting rid of, and it's fun. So I need to figure out. I know I have a lot of the larger Ziploc bags. I don't know if I have enough for each of these page kits. I'm gonna have to figure out. I'll probably put maybe 2 or 3 page kits in one bag, and we'll see. Because I'll be probably doing that the next step, after I add the other embellishments to them. But it's just so these items will still be in my stash, but they're just going to be in a more accessible way as far as getting them used is concerned. So anyway, so what can I talk about today? Hope you all are doing well. I am glad tomorrow's Friday. It's just been kind of a rainy, gloomy week here. And at the beginning of the week, I had to take my oldest daughter to the doctor because she's been having some lower back pain, and I think she tweaked either a muscle or a ligament in dance or cross country. I think it's dance, because it started to hurt after her first full week of dance, and she probably ran at least 2 meets with the pain, but it just had gotten worse and worse. And so because we just thought maybe she tweaked a muscle or pulled something, and instead it got worse and worse. And so she is off. Well, she had to quit cross country early, which was sad, but she's just in junior high, so they really just, they're competitive, but they're technically called fun runs, and they don't really get counted with placing and that kind of stuff. And so We quit that early, and then she has to take a month off of dance and a month off of PE. And so if y'all are the praying type, say a prayer for her, because we leave for Hawaii in less than 2 weeks, and I really want her to enjoy it. I don't want her to be in pain on the airplane. And when we get there, we're gonna buy, ice packs, and heat packs and stuff like that. But there's a volcano that we want to climb, and there's different things we want to do, and I just want her to be able to enjoy it. And so I'm hoping with 2 weeks before we leave that she can hopefully heal up whatever she injured. And so and also we have track season, in the spring that she really, really loves, and I just wanted her to be able to do all that. So anyway, so that's kind of been a big deal. So it's kind of changed our after school system a little bit. It'll make it a little bit easier, that's for sure, because she won't have our cross country practice. But so we've been kind of transitioning from craziest schedule to crazier schedule, and like today it's almost 7:30, and we still have another 40 minutes of practice, then we'll get home. We live 30 minutes away, so we'll get home by 8:30, and then luckily no homework tonight, so it'll be right to bath and bed. But the kids are young, they can handle it. It's me who has a hard time getting up in the morning. But no, so we're just ready for Friday, like fall sports are winding down, which is nice, and it's nice. And tomorrow's my morning off. I work in the afternoon. I used to work, Fridays used to be my super long day. But since we hired somebody, she works Fridays until 1. And so I am able to get the kids to school, and they carpool with somebody, so I don't have to drive them all the way in, because they go to school where I work, which is 30 minutes from our house. So thankfully I don't have to drive them in and then go all the way back home. We carpool with someone that's about halfway, so I'll take them to him, and then I will head home, and maybe I'll get a video done. That would be awesome. We'll see. See what it depends on if my husband's home or not. If not, I have a lot of housework to do. I am so far behind. Aren't we all the time, right? And anyway, so then tomorrow is, for the last 2 weeks, we've had home football games, and my husband actually is our local school football announcer. So he announces all the home football games. He's done it for a long time. And he loves it now because he has 2 nephews that are playing. I did an Instagram story on it last Friday. It was a lot of fun. So until playoffs are figured out, we're pretty much done with home football games. But so besides that, we also open our shop afterwards. So it just becomes a long day because I'm there in the afternoon. We close at 5, go to the game, and then come back, and we're open until about 11:30 at night. And they're so much fun because tend to be the kind of hangout afterwards, which is really fun for adults, for kids, for high schoolers. It's just a really fun thing. But 2 Fridays in a row got really really long, so I'm kind of glad those are done. We may have one more depending on how playoffs pan out, but it's just kind of nice that that's all winding down, and we can now start really focusing on our Thanksgiving and Christmas schedules, honestly, and events that we have work-wise and schedule-wise too with the family. So this year has definitely gone way too fast, way too fast. And then volleyball, my youngest it's just 4 weeks. It's just October. So they have 2 games each Saturday. We'll miss 1 week because we'll be gone. And it definitely added some craziness to our Saturday schedules, but I'm it's 4 weeks. And I think it's a sport she really, really likes. We did basketball a couple years ago, and she wasn't a huge fan. She didn't want to do it again last year. And we're just kind of the type that we don't force our kids to do anything. We just let them try things. And if they really don't like the sport or don't like it, then we are okay, that's fine. And if they do like it, then we let them pursue it. And even with dance, like last year, my youngest completely took the year off because she really wasn't passionate about it. And I thought she'd be done for good. But then this year she decided to go back into it. So she's taking 4 classes, and as well as my oldest. And my oldest will do it until she's out of high school. She loves dance. And anyway, so we're just, I try not to let our family schedules get too crazy. I am a true believer in, I think we do too much society-wise. We run too much. We are too busy. We make ourselves crazy and stressed, and we don't eat suppers together. And I'm kind of guilty of that right now, just because we had such a simple year last year, and I didn't do a good job of measuring that this year. And we gave up a couple things we did. Like normally my youngest does after school program twice a week just to get extra help with her homework. And so we're not doing that this year, and she's actually doing really well. And so, we've kind of gotten rid of some things, but it's still a little much. But once October is done, and we're just really going to be down to just dance until spring. So anyway, I know you guys love to hear about all of my kids and their sports and stuff, right? That's super exciting. No, but that's something that I really try to avoid. And so I almost want, I think to myself, like Keaton having this back injury, if that's kind of a sign saying, you know what, a little too much. Like we need to chill it out a little bit. So I'm hoping, I know she loves dance, and so I really hope she can get back into it. But anyway, so what else is going on? Goodness. I really need to get, the Get It Scrapped just announced their new creative team, which I'm on, and I need to get on my computer and share those and talk about that a little bit, because I'm super excited to be signed on for another year, and I need to do my assignment for this month before we leave for the trip. I gotta not let myself forget that. I need to get my planner out. I do have a happy planner, and I stamp in it and write in it and stuff every so often, but I don't know. The hard thing for me with planners is I just don't utilize it like I should. I used to. I was all through college. And even after that, when I was until I was done with college. I used a planner all the time. It was the only way I could function, because in college you had work schedules mixed with class schedules, mixed with internships, mixed with whatever else we were doing, and but now it's like I keep our entire family schedule on a wall calendar so that we can all access it and see it, and my husband can check out what we have going on. And so it's hard for me because I have to then write it twice. And so I just don't know. I really like it, and I've kind of utilized it a little bit here and there for more deeper planning things, like to-do notes and lists and stuff like that. But not as much as I thought I would. So I don't know if I'm going to keep up with it, or if I'm going to, even if I go to meet with my business partner and to figure out our schedules, it'd almost just be easier for me to grab my wall calendar, take it, and write stuff in. And I love all the stickers. And my daughter's using a happy planner too, and so maybe I'll just give her all my planner stuff and say, you know what, I'm not using it. Or maybe I'll just take another stab at it, try to make it a consistent part of my day. I don't know. We'll see. It's just one of those things that just every person's different, and I surprise myself that I haven't grabbed it as much. I'll usually do it in sessions. I'll sit down for a couple hours and just write everything in there, and I'll decorate it and I'll put stickers down. But then if that's the only reason I'm doing it is I feel like I need to, versus I'm needing it to actually function, it's kind of silly. So, but I know my daughter's using it, and she's at the age where she does have a lot going on and assignments and things, and so she's utilizing that. And so maybe I'll just give her all my planner stuff, and I don't know, we'll see. But what got me to that point? I forget what got me talking about my planner. Anyway, whatever. So what was I talking about? Anyway, see, do I have any scrubby plans coming up? Not really. I want to finish this process. I'm strangely, weirdly excited to get to the embellishment part of this, because that's kind of my favorite part of the scrapbooking process. And I love that this process is still allowing me to kind of stick with what works for my layout process. And I've talked about this before, but like for me, when I make a layout, and it's taken me a lot of time to figure this out, because it took a lot of like super flat layouts that I didn't love, and until I figured out that for me, what makes me happy with a layout is that it has dimension to it, but that it has a variety of dimension to it. So I have, you know, flat pieces for layering. I have some dimensional pieces and medium-sized pieces, and I have tiny and smaller pieces, some dimensional, some not. And for me, that makes a happy layout. To have everything from your larger pieces of pattern paper down to your smallest, whether it be a splatter or an enamel dot or a wood veneer, and meshing all that together to balance everything else out as you're making the layout. And I think that is when I'm usually the happiest with my layouts. And I figured that out when I was doing some Studio Calico kits. I was working with them, and I just was having a hard time working with them, and it just came to find out, like, in that particular kit, everything was either a sticker or a paper, and maybe you had a couple flares, but I'd probably use those up right away. And so I didn't have any dimensional things to work with, when I was maybe partially through the kit, and I was like, why am I having so much trouble? And it was because I was lacking half of what I needed to make a layout that I liked, which was the medium and smaller size pieces and the dimensional pieces. And so so anyway, it just took time, and it took that experience, and then as I started to make my kits, that's how I figured out, oh, this is why I had trouble. And so now I know when I'm making a kit, whether it be a page kit or a full kit, that I need that variety, or I'm going to struggle. And like, okay, so like for flat pieces, it could be anywhere from your die cuts, your project life cards, your pattern papers. It could also be rub-ons. It could be if you do a stenciling, anything in the background, and then your medium-sized pieces, again, more project life cards, maybe the 2x3 or 3x4. And then there's all kinds of sizes of ephemera. So you have those still. And maybe your larger chipboard pieces or 3D dimensional stickers, those kinds of things. And then you have your smaller, which could be your enamel dots, your smaller stickers, your puffy stickers, your splatters, your wood veneers. And wood veneers, you can have, most wood veneers are smaller, but there's some wood veneers that are larger. And so that's kind of how my brain, organizes those types of things, and I need a good mix of all of it. And so for these page kits, when I get to that point, that will be fun to see if I can manage to balance those out with each individual kit as I'm working through it this way. And so that will be fun. I'm excited to try that. I don't think I'm going to worry about pictures yet. Like I said before, I may, if there's something that just pops into my head, I'll write myself a note, or maybe I'll go find the photo. Usually a lot of times what triggers that tends to be, well, if there's a really specific pattern paper, for instance, the roller skates. I have a couple stories. Well, one main one. And so I don't have any pictures. And so I'm going to have to figure out, which picture is going to work for that. And match the color tones. Cars are starting to come, so I want to make sure someone doesn't see me talking to my phone and thinks that I'm a whack job. Anyway, and so, but other than that, I'm not going to stress about it. If something pops in my head, like, oh, this would be perfect. A lot of times what triggers a picture memory is usually an embellishment or a word or a phrase. And so I can maybe foresee that happening where, I come across a certain embellishment and think, oh, that'd be perfect for that story. So we'll see. Maybe, maybe not. But I'm not going to stress about that at this point. I think I'll wait to do that until I'm actually going to sit down and scrapbook. It's kind of the game plan. So yeah, here I'm definitely you can tell my page kits are getting kind of smaller and smaller. I'm just really running low on things that are going to work. And that's okay. Like I said, I'll make up for it in the embellishment process. And I'm going to have plenty of papers to make different layers. So if I'm running out of cards, I'm still able to put in quite a few 6x6 papers and I can cut those down. I can make them into tags. Tags are a great, medium-sized layer. I think that's why I like them so much, is because sometimes they mix it, I guess. Okay, so a lot of times for layering, I use smaller pieces of pattern paper or I use cards. But that can get, you can only do so much with that if you're layering it, underneath your photo. And so the reason I like tags so much is, they're a similar size, but they are giving you a different, I don't know, they're just a different shape, and you can tuck them in differently than, just a rectangular piece of paper. And then you're also adding in either the brad or the twine or whatever to the whole. And so it just is a fun alternative to just a smaller piece of pattern paper. And so I really like to make, and same thing with making them into the fishtail banners. You can put a strip of pattern paper underneath in with underneath your photo or with a bunch of other papers, but if you make them each end at the fishtail banner, it just adds a different look to it. And so I like to just do those types of little things to change up the layering process, because I really like to layer different papers, and so those are good ways, and they're nice medium size type of pieces of your layout. Now I'm not saying you always need your small, medium, large. There's sometimes I make a layout that has a photo, maybe a couple layers underneath it, and some embellishment at the top, and that's it. Sometimes I make very simple layouts that don't have all the small, medium, and large dimensional, non-dimensional pieces, but because I like to mix it up a lot, I assume if you guys have watched my layout shares, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But sometimes I like to just do completely different layouts. I think we all need to do that to get out of our comfort zone and mix it up. That's kind of a byproduct of doing classes and following YouTube pages and scrap lifting. But I definitely have figured out that over time, on a consistent basis, the layouts I like the most are the ones that meet those I guess, standards or qualifications or whatever you want to say that I've set for my pages. And so when you find what works for you, you know, you got to go with it. So yeah, these 6x6 paper pads are getting pretty, where they're just at the point where they're falling apart and the papers are coming out. So at a certain point, it just gets easier just to get them all in a pile and then filter through them, versus trying to flip through them as a booklet. And so I kind of take a break here and just start doing that because I was tired of messing with it. I'm also watching, I'm pretty sure I was watching This Is Us during this, so it may have taken me a little bit longer. I think I chatted with my husband for a while too. But I don't know, I'm sure everyone is watching This Is Us, right? Because it's all over the place. Such a good TV show. I love it. I cry every single time. And I think the reason why I like it so much is even though it's just real life. And even if you don't specifically, I guess, are experiencing some of the things, you know, the things that the different characters are experiencing, I think there's enough real life in there regardless that I think people connect to it. And I really think, you know, even if it's not the same issue, but maybe you have a similar issue, you know, I have nephews and nieces that are adopted, and so that storyline is special to me. Just a bunch of the storylines are special to me, and they keep kind of surprising you, and they keep teasing you, and it's just so nice to have a nice, well-done TV show. Like, I just feel like they're so rare these days, like, ones I can actually watch and not be frustrated, because I just feel like TV shows are just getting raunchier and raunchier, and I watch them in my family room downstairs, usually like when I'm scrapbooking, and I don't want to worry about my kids walking in, and like the commercials have gotten so bad even. So anyway, I won't go on a rant about this, but I just appreciate it for what it is. It's just a really good show. So if you haven't watched it, check it out. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I was watching that while I was doing this, because that's usually one of those shows that I just make sure I make time for. Sometimes it's in bed late at night, right before I go to sleep, but this particular night, I was home and was able to actually do some of these page cuts while I was watching it, not laying down for a change, which is nice. So anyway, so yeah, I am kind of getting to the point where I'm needing to take a break here. I got about 4 or 5 more minutes here. I kept saying to myself, oh, let's do one more. Oh, let's do one more. Because it's fun to like get into the pile and say, okay, which papers are next? Like, it's just fun playing with your product. Like, because, you know, I made these initial kits, you know, a couple weeks ago. And so it's just fun to say, okay, what 3 patterns have I combined next? And it's just fun. I really like it. So it's a fun process. I have each of these 6x6 pads had a lot of different kinds of wood grains. And so I finally started, because I just felt like they weren't working with any of them. And so finally, like, you have to get these wood grains in some of these kits. And so I kind of finally started to do that. I think I did that with this one here. And I like wood grains. I don't know why I was having such a hard time, but so I don't know what else to talk about, guys. Sorry, these videos are kind of long. See what else do I have going on in this scrappy world. Oh, I was talking about get it scrapped. Okay, I think that's somehow how I got to my... Oh, yes, because I was talking about making sure I got it done before our trip. Because normally I write that stuff down in my planner, but because I haven't been using my planner, I need to, like, make sure I get my assignment done before we leave for vacation. So yeah, so doing Get It Scrapped for another year, which is fun. And other than that, I'm not doing a whole lot right now. Like, I'm just kind of doing this and trying to fit in what I can. I'm hoping that Angie and I will have another scrapbook weekend here soon after we get back. I'm gonna guess maybe around, I'm trying to think of what holidays she'll have next because she works in a school. I'm trying to figure out what holidays she'll have next. That's usually when we kind of try to plan our weekends. So so that will probably be the next time I actually get some real, like, actual scrapbooking done. I'm guessing that tends to be how it works these days. That's okay. Sometimes you just have to go with it, go with what works. So I think I am wrapping up my last kit here. And my daughter's about done, so that timing was perfect. And thank you guys again for watching. And I know this is not very exciting. I know you don't want to know this much about my life, but unfortunately, one of the parts of this process is I have a lot of dead time to kill, and you guys get to hear about what's going on in my neck of the woods. So hopefully that's not a problem, but hopefully you're, enjoying watching me put these kits together as I'm enjoying making them. So anyways, we'll be back soon, guys. Thank you so much, and happy